Well, Jade, we saw this headline earlier this week from Yahoo, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Here it is. Half of Gen Zers said they don't see a point in saving money until things return to normal.
Oh,
Instead,
George.
they're investing in themselves. Here's
George,
what that looks like.
you know I have thoughts on this.
That's why I brought it to you, Jade.
So many thoughts, so many questions, so little time. Number one, the whole part about until things return to normal. We talked about this a little before the segment, and I'm like, are they talking about the pandemic? Because the pandemic is over.
We need to define normal. What is normal?
Well, normal is broke. We know that.
That's true.
Okay.
But they're wanting it, like normal to them, I think, is everything's great. The economy's perfect. I have a perfect job in the perfect place, and I can afford everything. I don't think that exists.
That is utopian. It 100% does not exist. And let's look at it from this angle. I mean, if you don't view times as normal, if you're still viewing times as, kind of like state of emergency or like crazy inflation, whatever, that's the best time to save, right? Like that's when we should be saving our money. That's when we should be pulling back a little bit. That's not really the time. I don't know. I feel like the thought here is a little bit backwards for me, but maybe I'm not a Gen Zer, so maybe I'm missing something.
56% of them put their retirement planning on hold during the pandemic, which if you're in a time where you're fearful, I feel like saving more money would be beneficial.
That's what I'm saying. You should be saving. And more questions, again, more questions. Gen Zers, so this is young America. I'm thinking, and here's my thoughts here, because I want people to retire and I want them to invest in their retirement early because we know that when it comes to investing, time is your friend, right? But it's also making me wonder, like, what, you're investing already? Do you have debt? Are you working the baby steps? Like, there's a way to do this and do it right. You know?
Yeah. And they talk about here they're prioritizing making up for those missed years during the pandemic with exciting experiences and good memories.
George, why are you provoking me,
sorry,
George?
I'm poking the bear here.
Investing in myself, so what, like starting my own business? Again, the mentality here is not making sense because on the one hand, we're like, oh, it's crazy times. We don't want to save our money. Like we want to wait till it goes back to normal. But on the other hand, we're talking about business ventures. I don't know. There's just a side of this that's not making a whole lot of sense to me.
It feels like it's a good way to justify doing whatever I want to do because saving is like eating your vegetables.
Facts.
And so like, hey, it's not the time to eat our vegetables, people.
Facts.
Okay? We're in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
The Brussels sprouts can wait.
Yeah, this is like me time for these people, but
these quotes are just, I love that they're betting on themselves. We're investing in ourselves. It's very eat, pray, love. Like I'm going to go find myself in Europe. And while I'm a big fan of investing in yourself so that you can have a better career, if that means furthering your education, things like that, that's great.
Yeah.
But we don't do that at the expense of our financial future.
Definitely not. And I mean, I think you can really have this pie in the sky when it comes to like betting on yourself in business. But I read a stat that said 18% of startups fail in the first year and 50% of startups fail in 5 years. So that's risky. Like if we're saying I'm going to take my retirement money and bet on myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about like chasing a dream and like going after stuff, but we not at the expense of like reality. Like we've got to think this thing through. There's a right way to do this. We want to set ourselves up for success, right? Like let's pay off our debt. Let's get some great savings in place. Let's start saving up to bet on yourself, but let's pay cash for it. Like let's not go out and get like business loans and la-ti-da. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to do this, George.
The financial planner quoted in this talking about their clients, said, right now they may be thinking, I don't want to put money into a retirement account because that's taking away from the dollars that I've been able to invest in myself and what I'm trying to do to achieve my dreams and create an impact for the world.
LOL.
What in the we are the world is this mentality?
I don't know, George. I'm confused by it because there was another part that said, they are seeking some sort of control. Because the consumer price index, it's distressing, stubborn inflation, the stock market volatility. It says Americans are facing financial strain due to rising housing, grocery costs. It's also difficult to put faith in the stock market, which has seen significant ups and downs.
So they're literally burying their head in the sand and going, I'm just going to go to the beach because life is expensive.
Well, they're like, the stock market is going up and down. I don't know what to do.
That is really the heart of this, is there is a microwave mindset in our culture today. We're not thinking long term. We see the stock market go down, and so they go, Well, why would I invest in that? I'm just losing money.
And the thing they need to remember is, and for you guys watching, the stock market does this, but it does this as it goes up. So it goes up and down while continuously traveling up. So we know that, if you look at the past, we can look at the past 30 years in the S&P 500, it's still having an annualized rate of return 10.7%.
And we're going to look at
up.
This time in history, 10 years from now, we're going to go, oh, look at that little dip.
You got to zoom out.
Zoom out, be a crock pot in a world full of microwaves.
Yeah.
Invest into your future, regardless of what's happening in the economy.
Yes.
And you'll be far better off.
But do it in the right way, Gen Zers. Let's get our debt paid off, because I know y'all got student loan debt.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to do 17 things at once.
Yeah, you got to focus.